In this video, I'd like to give you some tips for the homeowner as to how to have a really sharp chain when using a chain grinder at home. Well, what you first want to understand is to have a really good cutting chain, you have to start out with a top quality chain, because if you just buy that stuff that they sell at the box stores, it's basically junk. And so for less money, you can have a really high quality logger chain that will cut a lot better. And the one I recommend is Oregon puts it out, and it's the 72, or I'm sorry, it's the LGX is the main name for that chain. Also, other ones are the LPX, depending on the size of your chainsaw. So that's what I highly recommend for the price, and I get mine at Amix Superstore because they have really good deals on chains, and I think it's like $4.95 for shipping, for up to $50, so it's really reasonably priced. So if you start out with a good chain, you'll have a lot better results. Now, to have a good cutting chain, and what I mean by a good cutting chain is you should be able to lay the bar on the log, and it should pull it forward out of your hands, and it should throw these big chips instead of powder. So that's how if you have to push down on your saw, there's something wrong. So what we're going to look at here is basically if your chain goes dull, your cutter can go dull, so the thing that actually cuts the makes the cut in the wood right here, or your raker can be too high. So either one of these, an incorrect cut tooth or cutter, or an incorrect raker being too high, can cause a problem. So we're going to talk about both of those. Now I'm going to assume you already know how to set up your chain grinder and get the right angles. So we're going to already assume that, and we're going to talk about how to get a good cut. Now, before we actually cut, I want to show you over here what we're trying to accomplish is with this. Here's the top of the cutter right here, and then there's a gullet that comes in here. So this cuts into the wood, and this shaves it off from the side. And then the raker is over here, which kind of feeds into this cutter. So what we want to do is, when we're grinding, what I like to do is I like to first come in and grind a little bit of this top, because then you can you know how much you need to remove, so you don't remove too much to waste the chain. So you want to get a nice cut up here, and we'll show you what that is. So first I come in and I cut that, and then I pull back or down a little bit, and then I come in and I cut the gullet. And the reason I do this is I don't want to heat up this top surface here, and then I come in and cut the gullet, and then I come in and smoothly transition into this, because you want a nice angle right here, and you want to get everything as sharp as possible. And then later we'll talk about taking the raker down, because the raker is actually what feeds into the tooth. So if your raker's too high, you can have a real sharp chain, and it won't cut, because this raker's too high and it won't allow the wood to feed into the cutter. So a raker, we'll have to bring it down in this example, but if the raker's too low, it'll grab the wood too much and chatter a little bit. But if it's too high, it won't grab the wood at all. So these are three factors: the right chain, the right angle here, and this raker. So those are the three things you need to have a sharp chain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate coming down into the tooth. So you see I'm going to hit the edge of the tooth and just grind that perfectly flat, perfectly straight. Get all the divots out of it, and all the get a nice sharp tip on there. And then once I've done that, I'm going to come down here and get rid of this meet down here. You don't want to go down too far that you touch the rivet, but you just want to go down into the... And you want to be careful not to heat up the tooth. So you don't want to heat up the tooth, and you just want to grind. So that's perfectly symmetrical. So now we've got a good gullet, we've got a sharp point on the tip, and this the full length of the whole cutter is very sharp, is razor sharp. And so once you get all those done, then what you have to do is you have to get a tool. There's many different tools out there, but you'll put the tool on the raker and see how this is much higher when it sits in that. So that's got to be ground down flat so that it will allow the cutter to be pulled into the wood. So if you do these three things, if you have a good chain, you have these rakers at the right height, and you have a good sharp tooth or cutter, then you will have a very efficient chainsaw. I hope this helps.